I set each of the pods up the same. I put 100 mils in the measuring cup and then had the pod hanging from the cupboard. So it was just touching my countertop. So each time I put the pod into the cup, it was at the same height. The first pod I tested is the velour top bamboo pod. You can see the water level increase. I put blue lines on the cup where you could see the water level. And this was tested up to 3 minutes. And at the end here you can see the measurement of the water line. And that's on the front, and this is on the back. And what's interesting is that the back actually climbed up higher because that top isn't so absorbent. The front will stay mainly dry while the back will do all the wicking. Next I tested the super dry touch pod. Again, this was put in 100 mils of water, tested for 3 minutes. And you can see the water level clearly rising on the front of the pod. At the end of 3 minutes, you can see the water level is about 2.5 inches on the dry touch side. On the microfiber side, the absorbent side, it raised up to almost 5 inches. This, again, it wasn't clearly wet on the back, but it was in the middle that the pod was actually wet. I measured this level by pushing down to find where the water level had increased to on the middle of the pod. The last step was the regular dry touch pod. This pod, as you can see, the microfleece did not absorb water. The water level stayed about the same through the whole thing. But the important thing is that on the back, the microfleece actually did absorb a lot of water and pulled a lot of this water up almost 5 inches into this pod. Again, this was not wet on the front or the back. It was in the middle that the water had absorbed into those metal layers and wicked up the pod. So last, I had taken 3 pictures of the measuring cup after I pulled the pods out of there, and you can see the different water levels of each. I kind of overlaid them over each other, so it might be a little blurry, but that's because it's 3 overlaid pictures. But you can see how the different pods measured up. Now it's kind of, there's a lot of caveats in here because you don't know exactly how much water was in there. It was about 100 mils, but it's not exact. So it's just kind of an interesting fact.